my time frame. Let's see here, 7:04. So I'm going to go ahead and start the Town of Swanton Select Board meeting. This is Tuesday, June 2nd, 2020. It is 7 p.m. and we are doing this meeting via Zoom. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 members of the public present. I don't know, Elizabeth, if you got all of them.
I did, thank you.
Okay, that's excellent.
Welcome.
What's that?
Welcome. Thank you for coming.
All right, we've called the meeting to order. Under this scenario, we don't do the Pledge of Allegiance. I do want to state, I told some people earlier, I have lost the internet twice at 6 this evening. So if it happens, I'm going to try very quickly to get the internet back up. Hopefully we don't have a problem. We'll go from there. That's all I can do. Meeting topics. First thing is, or let's go to agenda review. We'll go around. Elizabeth, anything?
I'm just under other updates for me. I do want to remember to talk about the bike repair stations and the liter evaporator CDBG application.
Okay. Karen?
Nothing, thank you.
Gary?
All set, thank you.
Heather?
I don't have anything right now. Thank you.
Mark?
Yeah, under 3 for 3B, under law enforcement, can we just put under South River?
South River Street?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, let's see. David, do you have anything? You're muted right now. I unmuted you, David. Do you have anything for agenda review?
Yeah, just to note that per your request, I added a discussion on Mcqualms Shore and Lake Street to the highway part of the discussion.
Okay, Mcqualms Shore Road and Lakewood Drive. Anything else?
No.
All right, I'm going to mute you. Kathy?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay. I've got a few updates under highway and under Newtown business, discuss future operating procedures for public doing business with the town. I also want to talk a minute about the rail trail fitness path as part of that discussion. Okay. Meeting topics, minutes, May 12th, 2020, Select Board teleconference meeting. Do I hear a motion?
So moved. It's Mark. So moved.
Mark's made a motion to approve the meeting minutes. Do I hear a second?
Karen, I'll second.
Oh, go ahead, Karen.
Karen is seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll do a roll call vote. Karen?
Aye.
Gary?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Mark? Joel, aye. Ayes have it. I guess what I would ask for the select board members, if you don't have any noise in the background, go ahead and leave yourself unmuted while we're doing this, and it might help move things along. If you do have some background noise and you want to mute and unmute, go ahead, but it just adds a little bit of delay. You know who I don't think we have right now is Chief Stell. I know he said he was going to log in tonight. We'll see if he does. Next item is public comment. Linda, I've unmuted you.
Yep,
I don't know if you, under public comment, have anything you want to say?
yeah, about the corner.
Okay. We will take public comment. But on what other board members want to do, this is not an agenda item tonight. I'm not planning to take a lot of action on this one.
Okay, so what is it you want me to do or say or what?
It's public comment. The floor is yours. We'll give you a couple minutes to state what your concerns are.
Okay, you want it right now or?
Yep, it's public comment time.
Okay. No, I was just calling. I spoke with a few of the members about the corner, and every year it's getting scraped by the plow, and then this year they, instead of fixing it, the town guys took the, I guess it's your little mower with a bucket on it and just scraped all my lawn off, and people are just driving on it and they're getting closer and closer to the cedars, and last year the cedars got chopped right to the trunk when I was told that it was only one branch they wanted to cut, but they left it with a big hole. And I always checked when I come off. I would go around and wheel around to make sure that it was okay to still see when they approached the corner, and I trimmed it accordingly. And I was planning on it last year, but I had other issues come up, so that's why, like I said, I gave permission for one branch. And I would like something put up and fixed at the corner because, well, it doesn't look very good, and now it's puddling up with water every time it rains because they scraped it so low.
Okay.
The plows are too big for this little side street, for one thing. I mean, it's huge. It takes them a long time to do it because it's so big.
Okay, so your request is to have some material put in where the water's puddling.
Well, to fix it back the way it was, yeah.
Okay. Anything else for public comment on this
From me?
from you?
No.
Yes.
No.
And then what's the issue with the cedars?
Well, if you saw them, they got a big hole. They cut the branches right to the trunk.
Who did?
They did. It was Brian and one of the foremans that did it, and they said that that's what they were told to do. So, I was told it was one branch that I was told it was when the plow turned in to wheel around. There was a branch that was in his view. So that branch would have to been pretty high for it to block his view and sticking out. So I said he could cut the branch, whichever branch it was, but they didn't cut anything like that. It was all to one side. I mean, I think you came and saw it, so.
Yeah, I wasn't there I didn't realize that cedars were an issue too. I was just looking
Well,
at the area with the plow.
I said I did bring it up with him last year, and I told him, I said, that's not what I asked. That's not what you asked me to do, and that's not what I gave you permission to do. Like I said, I was on my way to a doctor's appointment when I saw what he did. And I did go down wheel around because he was there, and I told him, I asked him, what the hell did you do to those? I said, my God, you butchered them.
Okay, anything else?
No, that's it.
What I will do for other board members, as the road commissioner, I will have a report for you for the next meeting, and then we can have it on the agenda item, and we can have a discussion about it.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Linda.
Linda. Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate you coming in and talking to us about this.
Okay,
Thank you,
thanks.
Linda.
Yep, thanks.
I'm going to do a quick voice check with Chief Stell.
I'm here.
All
Sorry
right.
for being late. I had trouble signing in.
Oh, no, you're just right on time because item 3A is the chief, or is it, first of all, I got to ask any other public comment. I do have other folks here from the public. Okay, hearing none, the next item, Chief, you're right on time, is 3A, the report.
All right, thank you. Again, sorry that I wasn't on earlier.
I know, folks, the report got sent around. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at it yet.
So in the report for the month of May, we responded to 107 calls for service that included the property watches. Our regular calls for service throughout this COVID pandemic have been down to So we've been doing a lot more proactive stuff within the town. One of the things that we have continued to do is still support Meals on Wheels. And we have been making daily calls 7 days a week to about 25 residents in Swanton that are high risk elderly individuals, where we keep in touch with them so that we're making sure that they continue to receive the services that they need, both food wise, medical wise, and that they're not lonely and become too depressed from not being able to have too much for social contact. So those things are continuing for us, along with other initiatives. We in May saw some increased traffic issues in the town. We issued 13 warnings throughout the town, along with 8 traffic offenses in the town, for a total of a fine amount of $1,559 is what we've seen. And as the month progressed in May is when we started seeing more and more of that uptake. So we're going to be working more diligently at tracking that so that we keep our roads as safe as we can.
Yes, Chief, definitely noticed an uptick in traffic as the weather has gotten better, especially during those really warm days. Lots of tops down and lots of how about domestic violence? When I look on the list of different responses and stuff, it doesn't look too bad. Is reports of domestic violence gone up at all, you think, or about the same?
So nationwide, they've obviously gone up throughout this pandemic. Swanton itself, our domestic violences are not up, nor are our child abuse reports. They're pretty much flat, if not down slightly from what they were this time last year.
Okay. Board members, questions, comments for the chief?
Nothing as far as the report, no.
All right, I'm not hearing anything else. Chief, I do want to put in another plug of positive comments of what you folks are doing. Got to see another one of the birthday parades, and that was a great thing. And then I really appreciate your support for the Memorial Day, the small little ceremony that we did. But having the police and the fire department to be there was a good thing. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. Anything that we can do to help, keep our community whole and safe, we're trying to do that for everybody.
All right, Mark wanted to talk about South River Street as part of law enforcement, so you're on.
Yeah, Leonard or Chief Stell, I've got one caller concern of amount of black marks that are down on South River again towards the intersection of Beebe Road, just we'll say east of that. I don't know if you've gotten any calls or concerns or have noticed that, but it's probably worse this year than last year.
So we have gotten some feedback from some individuals in that area, and some of the warnings and traffic offenses that were actually written in May are from some of the individuals that were leaving those black marks.
Okay.
So one of them received a warning, and one of them actually received a traffic ticket for that vehicle infraction, and that infraction on the report is listed as St. Albans Road, because that's where they actually made the traffic stop, but it was for issues in the South River, Beebe Road area of those types of vehicles. So yeah, we are aware of it, and we're able to target it some this past month.
Yeah, I won't say it publicly, but I'll send you an email of the time frame that they say it's happening more so often than not. So if we could maybe target maybe that time frame a little bit.
Yeah, we'll definitely take a look at it, and if it's something we can target, we'll definitely do.
Okay, we'll do. I'll email you that tonight or tomorrow morning.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else for the chief?
Nope, thank you.
All right, Chief Stout, thank you very much.
Thank you.
4A, Old Town Business, discuss and approve NRPC contract for municipal project manager on MVU sidewalk construction project. That was a lengthy document that was sent out last week. I think it was 36 pages total. I don't know if you folks have had the chance to look at it. It's a lot of boilerplate info regarding contracts. The only comment I had is it's pretty small on the first page under 2D. Changes, modifications, or amendments in terms, conditions, and fees of this agreement shall be written and signed by the duly authorized representatives of the Regional Commission and the town. I think before we write anything and sign anything, it should be agreed upon. So I was just going to ask that the words agreed upon be added after shall be. Like I said, that's pretty small, but I throw that out there. Does anybody have any other comments?
Yeah, I just have one, under, the general terms and condition on letter H. The town should appoint, one point person as the town's principal contact. Have we discussed that at all previously? Because I don't remember.
I don't think we have yet. It'd be the person that's going to work with the regional plan in Bethany. I don't think we've got there yet. Have we, Elizabeth? I don't think we have.
We have not, and my guess is going to be that there will actually be a steering committee once we get this moving on, but that none of that has been decided yet. She did
Okay.
email David and I today that she was not going to be at the meeting and she would like to be at the 16th meeting to talk about the RFP and the plans for the next 6 months.
This person, whoever it is, Mark, it's a great opportunity to be the point person working on this project. When Bethany's got a question and she needs an answer from the town, she would work with whoever our representative is, and that person would be out there, get a chance to see the construction and stuff. Bethany's got the lead on it, but she definitely needs a point of contact. And it's
Yeah, I was initially thinking to go with Elizabeth, and then she could kind of use us board as the umbrella under her. That was my initial thought anyways.
Yep. I don't have any, I think that's a great idea, and I think we can probably put this to bed on the 16th when we have Bethany
Yep.
there. Give Elizabeth a few days to think about it. Anybody else who might be interested? Any other thoughts on this contract or agreement? Do we add those words, or is it good enough the way it's written?
I'm fine with it.
All right, I'm not hearing any other, all right, let's just get it, someone get a motion that I can sign this as is.
This is Mark. I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Mark. Got a second?
This is Gary. I'll second it.
All right, Karen, or any other discussion first? Hearing none. We'll take a roll call vote. Karen,
Aye.
Gary,
Aye.
Heather,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Joel, aye. Ayes have it. I will be in to sign that document probably tomorrow.
You do want the words agreed upon added, correct?
I didn't hear much conversation, so we voted on it as is. So the
Okay,
way the motion was set.
okay.
All right. We still have Adam and Breton. Breton from Pike, Adam from FW Whitcomb. I don't think we have anybody else. We have one other bid from J. Hutchins Incorporated. So I have 3 bids in front of me. We've never done it this way before, so I'm going to open these up. I haven't opened them yet. I'm going to just first hold them up. Can't really see very good. I haven't even opened them yet. It'll be the first time I've seen them. And I'll read to you what they've come up with. And we either decide tonight, we can go into like an executive session, or we can set up a separate night that we meet and approve these bids. I don't want to really wait to the 16th if I can help it, because I want to give the successful bidder an opportunity to get us into their schedule. I think it's a fairly busy year because things didn't get started quite as early as normal. So that's just my thoughts. Right now, I'm opening up FW Whitcomb. The bid has been signed by Tyler Whitcomb. And they have provided a copy of their insurance. So, give me just 1 minute. The bottom line, and we'll see how the other bids are done, is they have bid at $63.57 per ton on each one of the line items for a total dollar figure of $407,420.13. Okay, so it's 407, 420.13. That's based on 63.57 per ton. There were 8 different work items: Shoalen Road, Russell Road, Waugh Farm Road, Lakewood Drive, Homestead Road, Elm Street, Short Street, South River Street. So that's the total for those items. Any questions at this point? Can't really see anything that you can read, can you? I can't read it. Sorry about that. Blame it on the virus. Next one I'm going to open is from J. Hutchins Incorporated. I heard somebody unmute. It's got some background noise. Okay, it looks like they didn't do any changes to the estimated quantities, and they came up with a bid price per ton of $67.25 for a total of $431,000. $431,005.25. And that was J. Hutchins. The last bid that we have is from Pike Industries. We have a signed contract, and the cost per ton, $64.95 for a total contract cost of $416,264.55. So based on the 3 bids, Whitcomb was the lowest at $63.57 per ton, Pike the next at $64.95, and J. Hutchins at $67.25. For the boards, just a little bit of information. We pay by the ton of actual items that are as it's installed, so we don't necessarily pay all the way up to the 416 or the 431,000 based on actual material in place, and we get the tickets anyway of the actual tonnage that's installed. So I open up to discussion at this point. See if anybody's got any thoughts or comments.
I have none.
Is everyone here that wants to speak on their behalf? Is that allowed? How does it work?
I have no problem if Brenton or Adam have something they want to add.
I mean, is other than the price, is there something different that each group offers? What sets everyone apart? Is that listed somewhere?
Well, what we've listed is part of what we asked them to do is we list the work items. So everyone should be bidding on the same work items.
Okay. So it's not like someone has a shorter timetable or use different quality product or anything like that that would.
Correct.
I mean, so.
Correct. We stated what type of asphalt. We wanted the street swept. We wanted tack coat put down, etc. So again, they should be bidding on the same information.
So does anyone want to speak on behalf of their company? Is anyone able to do that?
I know I've got Brent and Adam here. Adam,
Yep.
just
Yeah, this is Adam from Mcqualms. Yeah, I mean, if you have any more questions, I'd be happy to answer them. I know you mentioned something about schedule, and I know that won't be an issue right now. We have a second paving crew that just got finished at the Burlington Airport. We're actually looking to get started on some paving with them. They've been on a couple jobs already, but they're pretty much ready to go, and I could see them being able to ramp up as early as next week. So I know our schedule won't be an issue, if that's anyone's concern.
okay. Thank you, Adam. I know from my perspective as the one who's dealt with this probably 6 years right now, we should go into an executive session and discuss this.
Correct.
I am quite sure I can put everybody that's on this screen into a waiting room. We want to talk about it.
Is there a second company that would like to speak before we do that? You said there were two people. Is that
Right. Brendan, just unmuted.
I'm here. I guess I don't have any primary rebuttal. It seems clear. The schedule is clear. Pike would guarantee the schedule. Sounds like Wickham would too. Comes down to price per ton. Can't argue with that.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. I can get a motion to go into executive session.
I'll make a motion. We go into executive session. It's Karen.
All right. Do I hear a second?
I can second that. This is Heather.
All right. Is there any other discussion? Well, hearing none, we'll take a vote. Karen,
Aye.
Gary,
Aye.
Heather,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Joel, aye. It is now, excuse me, 7:33. We're in executive session. Okay, folks, it's Joel here. I just brought everybody back from the waiting room. We're out of executive session. The time is 7:45. So regarding the paving contract, do I hear a motion?
This is Gary. I make a motion that we accept the bid of FW Whitcomb at $63.57 per ton for the paving contract.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Second.
Mark seconded. Do I hear any further discussion?
I'd like to
Signatory.
designate David Juscavage as the signatory on the contract.
Okay, that's an amendment to the motion. Okay, hearing no further discussion, we do roll call vote. My computer changed up here on order. We'll start with Karen,
Aye.
Gary,
Aye.
Heather,
Aye.
Mark.
Aye.
Okay, and I'm an aye. Adam and Brendan, thank you very much for attending tonight. Sorry we're doing this by computer and not doing it in person. I want to thank you very much for submitting bids, and look forward to working with you guys in the future as well. That's both companies. Thank you very much.
Thank you all for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Good luck with the contract.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night, guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay, so we've done that. Now 4C, V-Trans BB Road grant applications updates. David?
Yep, that's me. I just want to update the board on the highway grants that we're applying for this year. These are provided by V-Trans every year. One of them is a Class 2 paving grant. And what that means is that the road has to be a Class 2 road in order to qualify for this grant. And the other one is a structured grant, which for both of these, they deal with BB Road. And based on Joel's examination of the road and determination that it's due for some repair work and resurfacing, the paving grant, we're applying for a total of $244,180. And the grant portion would be $195,344, which the state would have to require a 20% match of $48,836 for the project. And normally the match is made up of in-kind work done by the town. So it doesn't really involve spending extra money because it's already there to help pay for this. And the culvert there's a large culvert on BB Road. If you have driven down there, there's one section right about in the middle where there's a nice farmhouse on one side, on the north side, and on the south side there's some large barns. Right before you go that, as you're driving towards Route 78, there's a large culvert under the road. It's approximately a 4-foot diameter culvert, and it's a metal one, and over the years it's deteriorated just from rust, and also the midsection of it appears to be sunken a little bit. So what Joel came up with for a replacement for that is a square concrete culvert similar to the one that was put in on South River Street, but smaller. It would be 6 feet by 6 feet by 6 feet by 6 feet. And that would be put in place before the road itself was resurfaced for the whole length. BB Road is approximately 1 3/4 mile long. The cost, estimated cost for the culvert project, the total cost estimated is $134,579. And of that, we're asking for a grant of $121,121.10. And because we have the road and bridge standards in place and some other items that are related to highways, that qualifies us for a lower match. So in this one, we're eligible for a 10% match, which works out to be $13,457.90. And again, that can be made up with in-kind contributions from the labor and equipment and so forth that is used during the work. Having said that, the last week, both of these were submitted to the state. The one caveat being, I was told by the District 8 manager that the legislature still has not approved funding these types of grants for this year for the whole state. So he's waiting to get word on that before evaluating the order that these grants would be awarded to the towns that have applied for them this year. And we'll just have to wait and see. We did get the South River Street grant last year, and sometimes they have a program in District 8 where they like to evenly to spread the money that they award on a yearly basis. So usually if a town gets like a paving grant one year, they have to wait a couple years before they're eligible to get another one. Although that's not a solid rule, but they try to, in other words, not give one town too much money and others, nothing. So, but the one caveat to that is that sometimes they don't have enough towns apply for these types of grants in a given year. So even though town A may not be scheduled to get a grant in a particular year, if only a few towns apply for these, there would be money left over. So we could possibly still get that the paving grant funded this year. The structure grant, we'll have to wait and see how many people apply for the structures, and again, whether the state itself, the legislature, funds these programs for this year. So that's where we stand right now. Several meetings ago, the board gave permission to go ahead and apply for these, and that's what we've done. So right now, it's just wait and see what happens in different scenarios.
Okay. Any questions on those? It's a fair amount of work. The good news is we've got that submitted, so the state has some money. Hopefully we can get one, if not both projects. I know it's a long shot, but luck is being ready for the opportunity when it arises. Okay, 5A, new town business. Discuss new select board meeting places and procedures. I think what we talked about last time was meeting in person on the 16th, and that would be at probably at the village complex. If you have to space the tables out and stuff, do that. And certainly if there was a lot of public, we may have to do something different, but I think we get a fair number of chairs in there at 6 feet spacing, and definitely be able to hold a meeting. I'm not a proponent of wearing a mask if we're 6 feet apart, but I don't know what other people feel about that. Probably should have masks on the way in once we get seated. I am very comfortable taking mine off, but I don't want to make other people not feel comfortable. So I throw that out there, and any other procedures you think are necessary.
No, I agree with the mask. I think it should be optional. You wear it in, and once you're in there and seated, you can take it off.
So I was at the trustees meeting last night, and that's what they did. You wore it when you came in. She actually took our temperature. She had a little thermometer, and she took a forehead temperature. But anyway, and then they were all seated at least 6 feet apart, and then they had it set up where the chairs were that it was 6 feet. And then you could either wear your mask or not, and it seemed to work fine. And there were a few of us in the audience, so it worked fine.
Excellent. I would request when setting the room up, David and Elizabeth, is that we have some hand sanitizer right at the entrance as well, so that if people want, they would have hand sanitizer available. Copy that, David.
No, you were breaking up there. I couldn't hear everything that you said.
All right. We were talking about the mask, and then
Right, and something about checking at the door, I heard.
well, Elizabeth said they were checking temperatures. I don't know if we've got our thermometers yet, have we?
I don't know, 'cause I check my temperature at home. I have my own thermometer.
Yeah, but I thought we ordered some.
Yeah, Tanya did. I don't know if they came in yet because I haven't been using it here. I use my own.
All right, please check with her and let us know the status. But
Yep.
what else I was saying is we should have hand sanitizer available.
Yeah, we got plenty of that.
All right, so we got to make sure we bring it up to the village complex the night of the meeting.
Yep. We also have a lot of extra masks that are good masks. If I'll bring some to the to that meeting in case somebody shows up without one.
Okay.
I thought I read something, I read 3 times to make sure because it didn't make sense that the public, because of the way the new regulations, we don't actually have to have a space that's for the public to go. Isn't that true?
I have no idea.
I mean, not that I'm saying we should not invite the public in, but I thought I read that the public, we don't, because of what's going on, we don't need to have the public open to the room.
That's for virtual, that's for non-in-person meetings, like Zoom meetings, you don't have to have a physical location anymore.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So
Okay.
we're meeting in person.
So if we had a Zoom meeting and we had something going on over at the town office where people could then be, okay, asking questions, but in person, you have to give them a space to sit and hang out. Right, yes.
That's kind of my understanding too.
Okay,
I think before they thought that even a Zoom meeting, you had to give them a place where they could go to, but they have the ability to either dial in or go on a computer for Zoom, so they have a place.
okay. Are we still gonna be facilitating Zoom for the meeting?
I don't think we need to unless someone calls us and says there's a reason that they're not comfortable health-wise or something, then we could make accommodations.
Do we have this Zoom, if we still have this in like later in the month, this application, the Zoom application, would it hurt to leave it open to the public that they could call in for people that don't feel comfortable?
Yeah, what I think we can do is make that an option on the agenda. Ask people to tell us in advance if they want us to set the Zoom. It's not very much. It's $15.99 a month right now. Is what our Zoom costs are.
Okay. Well, I just thought for members of the public that don't feel comfortable attending, they could call in still. I don't know how we would do the camera because I wouldn't have my computer, but maybe something could be set up on a laptop that is already owned by the town to record the meeting. Does that make sense?
Do we have a laptop we can bring, Elizabeth or David?
I do, yes.
Okay, so we can make it work.
That'd be great.
We'll try it, see how much interest there is to dial in for the next couple months.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You got that for an action, Elizabeth? We can work with my, as long as we can get Outlook. I mean, as long as we can get Zoom, I have all my login information.
Okay, and I was going to say I have it through FCIDC and we're using it at least through June. So if you don't renew, we do have that avenue.
Excellent. All right. So we will try to make that accommodation. Anything else regarding our need in place or procedures? Hope to see you all in person on the 16th then. 5B, discuss future operating procedure for public doing business with the town.
Yeah, this is mainly Kathy, I think, because she's getting the most customers to deal with. Otherwise, if someone absolutely needed to come in here and talk to me, they'd have to make an appointment and then follow the same procedures they go through to see the town clerks. And also for Amy and zoning, if somebody absolutely needed to come in here to see her in person, they would have to wear a mask and get their temperature checked and so forth. And Amy's been working fine now, just doing a lot by phone. If they need a permit application or something approved, she can do that in the office and then make arrangements for them to show up at the front door and hand them what they need and take payment for whatever the fee is. But Kathy may want to elaborate on how she and Tanya are handling it up in their office space.
Kathy?
We are still doing appointment only for researchers. We are accommodating the appraisers and realtors by just sending the lister cards in short, like small, they don't have a lot. It's usually like 4 or 5 pages, and we can pull it out and email it to them, and we send them a bill and they bill us. We've been continuing doing the dog licensing like we have by people dropping off checks, and that's been working well. We are changing the sign on the front door by appointment only. We still haven't opened fully to the public, but we have been accommodating some notarizing and trying to help people as best we can until we get to a point where everyone's comfortable enough to let people into the office. I'm not sure when, hopefully we get to do this and we all can get a solution to getting people back in the office. But we haven't had any complaints about not being able to get in the office. We're scheduling anywhere from 2 to 3 appointments a day, which are anywhere from 2 hours to 3 hours. It's not longer, just trying to get people through. We haven't, people have been really good. They've been good with coming in. We meet them at the door, ask them our routine questions, give them hand sanitizer, and they work in one area, actually 2 areas, because the books in the vault are pretty heavy, so they have to use the copier, but they leave the books out. We sanitize them after they leave. We have them leave everything they've touched or used out. And then after they leave, we go through and we start with the front door handles and work our way back to the computer, and then put all the books away in the vault, sanitize them, put everything away. So it's been going pretty good. We haven't had any complaints. So it's just a matter of how we move forward. I guess it's baby steps.
So you're saying when people come in to use it, they're wearing a mask and they wash their hands at the door, and then you sanitize everything after they leave as well?
Exactly.
Okay.
So basically, someone comes to the front door, we ask them the questions: travel out of town, fever, illness, sickness, because our thermometers are en route, but we haven't received them yet. And most of our researchers that are coming in, they don't want to touch anything anyways. We don't have them do the normal sign in. We sign in for them. We sign out for them on our log sheet that we use to keep track of people coming and going. So like I said, basically we meet them at the front door. We give them hand sanitizer, let them in. We sign them in. They go back to where the computer is, do their work. And if they have to pull, like I said, anything from the vault, they do. And we sanitize everything. Then after they leave, we start from the front door and work our way back and sanitize everything and wait for the next person.
I don't know if this is, I think maybe my suggestion for the next step is don't sanitize everything after they leave, because if they're already sanitizing their hands and they're wearing a mask, the chances of them contaminating stuff is pretty minimal, and it would save you some time, right?
Well, we save time, but the procedures that we have to follow based on what we've been given is we do need to sanitize that person.
Okay. And so that's still the current procedure that's expected?
Yeah.
Okay. So are you asking us what the next step, or you're saying you don't know what the next step will be?
Well, we're going to work our way through it. We'll gradually open and allow more people into the office. It's just that we're not ready to completely open the office up to the full public at this time.
I see. Okay.
There's still a lot of clerks' offices that haven't even opened their offices for appointments yet in the state. But we're trying to, accommodate as many people as we can by getting them in using the protocol that we've been suggested to use.
Yeah. Okay. I just know Joanne Fabrics, they only have you sanitize your hands at the door and wear a mask, and after that you're on your own. So I know that as with material items, it just slowly degrades every minute that it sits on that item. So I didn't know how contagious the I mean, I guess none of us really know, so I just was making that suggestion, but it sounds like
Well,
you're following procedure and,
We're following the VOSHA protocol.
okay,
So I don't know if they have to follow them, but we spent a lot of information on it. We're just following the procedure that's basically laid out for us to follow.
okay. Well, you're doing what's right then. I didn't know if you needed suggestions. It sounds like you're doing it right, so don't worry.
All right, thank you.
I think overall, from what I've seen and heard, things are working pretty good there. Just hope the back offices that David, Elizabeth, and Amy and the listers are all following something very similar so that we protect ourselves, our town employees that are working in that building. I do appreciate the effort being made to accommodate the public. I think it's important that we change kind of the sign that we are open to business, but it's by appointment only for essential business, and that allows us to determine who comes in or who doesn't. Good job, folks.
Yeah, we are going to do that tomorrow, Joel, put a new sign out.
And then we should probably put one on that side street. Well, we got 2 side doors.
And
Appreciate
Amy has, sorry to interrupt you, Amy has been following the protocol with everything. She's been pretty much, if someone needs to see her, she's either been going to the site with her mask and everything on, or meeting the people outside, or having them put everything in the door. So she has been following the protocol, as well as I know when Jim and they went out on their site visits, they've been following the protocol too. The listers haven't had anybody into their offices as of yet, but they have been doing some site visits and they have been following the protocol.
Okay, sounds good. Anything else? I was just going to add something that came up and regarding kind of operating procedure is on our fitness path, the Dick Thompson fitness path. Should we have any signs up there suggesting people follow the social distancing and stuff? Christine Sweeney is still on, and she's the one who sent me an email about it. I've got a little bit of mixed feelings. We have a hard time keeping signs up anyway. We could certainly make some and hang them on each of the gates and help try to keep people social distancing. And I also watch Joe Public and different places that I go to, retail stores, etc. And short of putting several police down there, and I don't think we're going to change attitudes too much if we put the signs up. But I throw that out there for a quick discussion of whether we do anything or not.
I don't know if it'll help, but it probably won't hurt if you try. No, we made the effort to put some signs on the gates.
For what it's worth, I have a template we can use if we just wanted to do an access to a laminator. If we wanted just to do some, I don't know, 8.5 by 11 or 8.5 by 14, and then I can get them laminated and we can put them up there so it wouldn't cost anything.
Yeah, I think we should make them a hair bigger. You know the signs they put on the side of the road for elections and stuff? I think we could price and see what it would cost. And because we have a template, it should be fairly easy to for someone. We don't have to pay for artwork or anything, and see how much 25 signs or something would cost us.
I'm in St. Albans on Friday afternoon. I can check like the UPS store and a couple other places.
I wonder if this is something that people don't already know. I mean, everybody, maybe it's just at my house, but we all know, stay 6 feet away from each other, stay 6 feet away from each other. Is it our place to put up signs, or is it something that people should already know? I mean, I go to the grocery store and you're supposed to stay going up and down the lines, going through the arrows, and I see people going the opposite way of the arrows. So, I mean, is a sign to remind people? Is it to protect ourselves, or, you know, what's the focus? or the reason
think-
for.
Signs serve two purposes. One is as a reminder, but also we have to understand, we do, no matter what, have people coming in from out of state where their state may be handling things differently than we are. And I think, it's a good idea to put up a couple signs.
Okay, Elizabeth, do you want to send me a sample of what you have? And
Sure.
maybe we can look, and if people don't have a big issue with spending $100 on some signs, we go ahead and do it.
Okay.
I get some basic head nods. I can see everybody but Karen. Mark's good with it.
Good.
Gary,
No, I'm good. Great.
Heather.
Can I have one as a souvenir when this is all over?
You can have two.
Okay.
All right. I don't think we need to spend much more on that. We will make up a few signs and put them out. Maybe we should get one of those stay a cow's length apart too. Those are pretty nice to sell.
Those are super cute.
TV
Yeah, if you
several
can
weeks
make
ago.
it, if you can make somebody smile when you do it, that's even better.
All right. Community and economic development updates, Elizabeth.
All right, I'll try to be thorough but quick because there's a few things. So I happened to be walking by the library a week or so ago, and it occurred to me to ask Caleb where the window restoration was going. Jamie has the windows. He picked them up just as COVID-19 was starting. He is actually ahead of schedule, but it will be a little while before they're back in. So that's just a quick update that work is under process, is going on. The Mcqualms Shore Lake Street grant update is just that the RFP is out, has been out for I think a week or so now. Actually probably at least 2 weeks. The deadline is June 10th. We have had a number of people respond with some questions, so there is some interest in that. So that's glad to see that. The Nrpc TAC update, for anybody who doesn't know, TAC is Transportation Advisory Committee. The regional planning has a number of committees, and I'm on board of commissioners, as well as I am the village representative and the town's alternate for TAC. Harold was not at the last meeting because he was out counting cars coming across from New York, is my understanding. Just a couple of quick updates that the Route 78 out in West Swanton is, and you can laugh, it's okay, but it is front of the book, which means they expect it to start in 1 to 3 years. We'll see it when we'll believe it when we see it, but that's the official status. So I did want to pass that along for what it's worth. And the bridge over the Missisquoi, and I know it's in the village, but it is Swanton. That is not a V-Trans project, but the TAC committee, they rank bridges and projects, and they rank that as the most important bridge project in Franklin County. So hopefully we can get that on the V-Trans list and get that as a project and move that forward, because it is underneath, it's in pretty bad shape. So I just wanted to give an update on that, and I'll stop real quick and see if anybody has any questions so far. Okay.
Which bridge was that? I didn't hear.
The one over the Missisquoi, just past Merchants Row.
Okay.
Going South River.
The dam bridge?
The dam bridge.
Vietnam vets.
The Mississippi, yes.
Yeah.
The Vietnam
Okay.
vet, yes.
Yeah, probably a better way
That's
to
what it is.
describe that. Yes.
What it is
So
now. We dedicated that 2 years ago.
Yes, we did. The Highgate Airport grant update, there are actually 2 grants. The Northern Border Regional Commission grant was submitted over the weekend. Highgate is pretty committed to move forward. They're obviously concerned about the amount of money this project is going to be, particularly now with this, every level of government's going to be hurting for funding, but Northern Border does have money. So they did go ahead and apply to move to, it's a joint project with the village and Highgate to get water and sewer out to the airport, and the development that Jim Harrison is looking to do adjacent to the airport. She appreciated the letters of support. So thank you to David for drafting that, and the select board for approving it. And then they're doing an EDA Public Works grant. She may be looking for another letter of support for that. I'm not sure when that's due, but Highgate is working on the airport grant. And I did hear that the airport isn't going to, the runway isn't going to be extended the 1,001 feet. It looks like it's going to be 400 feet for whatever that is worth. So other updates, the bike repair stations, if you recall, through Rise Vermont, the village and the town both were awarded funds to put up bike repair stations. And the village ordered theirs, what's today? Tuesday. So they ordered theirs yesterday. We're going to do the paperwork to get ours ordered tomorrow. There is a supply chain issue, so they won't be here for a few months. So they probably won't be installed until next year, or it will be fall probably. I know that we wanted to discuss where to install those, and maybe it would be helpful to actually get them here and see them. We're going to get red because it'll be a nice, bright, obvious color. So I don't know if we want to have that discussion at the next meeting because it's not an agenda item, or if we want to wait and have it when they get here before they're actually installed.
I think we got time.
Okay.
We could mention and hopefully get public to give us some thoughts.
Okay. So I also want,
Are they all red?
they're both red. Yes.
So no, I mean like you chose red, or is that typically the color that's used?
We chose red, and that was one of the colors that was suggested because it does stand out so people know where it's at.
Was the other color suggested blue?
No, I think it was black.
Black.
And
Okay.
I was like, black, it just kind of seemed like it would kind of blend in. Then
Yeah.
there was like a pink and some not really attractive green. So we went with red.
Okay.
The CDBG application for leader, as you may recall, it was supposed to go to the board, the Housing and Community Development Board in April. That meeting was canceled. The June 11th meeting will be via, I think it's go to meeting, or it's going to be virtual, whatever it is. What's interesting to me is on the agenda, there are a number of towns that all do their presentation. Then they do a working lunch, and then Swanton goes, and then they give their recommendations. And I don't know why we're after the working lunch. I just find that curious. And it might be just because it's $1 million application with some complexity to it. And they wanted to have lunch before they jumped into it. I don't know. I kind of asked Tim Smith if he had any ideas, since he's kind of been involved in these things, and it just may be they wanted to eat lunch at a certain time and ran out of time, so they took us last. I don't know. But the board makes the recommendation, so it's kind of nice that we'll know what the recommendations are before we leave the meeting. The other thing to keep in mind is that the governor can overrule those recommendations. So for instance, if we ask for $1 million and only get, say, 750, the governor could come back and say, no, give them the full 1 million. So that was part of the reason we had them come up, the governor come up, I believe it was in February, was so he could see the operation, meet some of the employees, and put some faces with some names to the business, knowing that he could override the recommendation. They have like $5.5 million in requests for a $2 million funding opportunity. So it's going to be close or tight.
Have you spoken to them recently? How are they handling the COVID situation?
They actually are in better shape financially now than they were before. they were deemed essential, so they did not have to shut down. I think that they did do some voluntary, anybody who didn't feel safe coming to work was allowed not to work, but they received their full pay and benefits. So there were no layoffs. There was nobody who was not getting paid. So the employee base remains the same.
Okay,
And they,
great.
yeah, so they're in, financially, they're in really good shape. They are doing a professional presentation for the board, so it'd be interesting to see that. One of the questions that came up as an issue was they asked for the town's financial management policies and procedures, and we were able to provide them some information, but based on the feedback we got today, that wasn't enough for them. VC, the Vermont League of Cities and Towns has some guidance, and they're basically boilerplate documents that we can fill out. So I was going to get with David and Kathy tomorrow. It's not, we can still be awarded the grant with the condition that we get acceptable policies and procedures in place once the grant is awarded. So I thought that it would make more sense to go ahead and get that started now. So when June 11th comes around, we can say, oh, we've already started this process of working our way through those, just so that we're not, one, it makes sense, and two, that way it's showing that we're proactive. So that was the one thing that the town needed to take care of. Leader has a couple of minor things that he should be able to take care of by Friday. So I'm not worried about that. So I had one more thing, but I'll stop if anybody has any questions, particularly on Leader.
I just think that getting that going, as you say, is probably a good idea.
Okay.
Having
Yeah,
it started.
Yeah, that way anything to make $1 million application stronger, given the nature of where we're at, I thought was probably a good idea. So this mainly is an FCIDC thing, but I'll bring it up here. I don't know how many folks know that I worked for the Free Press, and the Free Press has moved their operations to New Hampshire. So I am out some weekly hours from losing that job. FCIDC has gotten some grant funding through EDA, and I'm working an additional 4 hours for them starting on June 1st a week, and then starting July 1st, their new fiscal year, I'm working an additional 8 hours a week, which means that I can do some additional Swanton work during the week as part of my work with FCIDC. It all rolls together. So it's not like I can't work on Swanton things on FCIDC time. So that just gives me the ability to do some extra work for the town each week without costing the taxpayers extra money.
Excellent.
The end.
The end.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to Highway Department. Just some real quick updates. Berry Road, we have the guardrail and a little bit of paving to do up there. The guys installed the guardrail today, and they'll be up there paving that. So we'll have all the work completed from the damage last fall. I will say that the condition of that culvert's pretty bad. Kevin wanted me to walk in it with him this week, but because of the rain, it's flowing too quickly now, but the bottom of it's pretty rusted. So there'll be another grant request, and that's a big culvert. Guardrails, they'll install them starting tomorrow morning on South River Street. That's part of the grant that we have. May take them a day or day and a half, but there'll be new guardrail on South River Street very shortly. The truck body that we approved last fall when we were doing the budget is in, and we'll probably have that installed by the end of June. We'll send the truck down and get that put on, so that'll be good. Today, one of my neighbors came over and told me I needed to go look at the culvert that's just down the road from me, about 300 feet. And on the side, about 6 feet from the edge of the pavement, it's a big sinkhole. So that's a 6-foot culvert. I walked through it. Whole bottom of it's rusted and stuff. The guys are going to come down tomorrow and take a look and at least fill the sinkhole so that the road itself doesn't cave in right near the culvert. But that'll be another culvert. We'll get on the project list, and probably be 3 or 4 years before we'll get to replace it. We'll have to monitor the possible sinkholes. Pretty much the updates that I have from the highway. I don't know if anyone's got any questions or concerns regarding highway. I'll be glad to take any questions or concerns.
A couple of comments that I have. I noticed, it looks like the guys have been doing a lot of yard work up there. Move that cement bench out of there. That looks really well with that gone. Any ideas when we move that old dump body out of the backyard there?
No, but I can push that one forward a little bit. It's time to get that thing over to the salvage yard.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
What
think they've
amount?
taken all the pieces off it that they were saving as spare parts. I know we've had this discussion a few times, so I'll be glad to ask them where they are on that. We were just going to take it over to salvage.
Joe, does Hodgson's usually charge us for them tires to get rid of that are also back there on the left?
Yeah, we don't take them there. I think we took them down to Georgia last time. Oh yeah, we get charged. Last year we had a mountain of tires. It was a big bill.
Well, where I was going was is if we bring that dump body Hodgins, we should get some money for that. I mean, that's a pretty good weight. Would it be?
I would. There may be some value. Steel's not real high right now.
Where I was going was to see if we can make a fair trade, take care of the tires for us, and we'll give you the dump body.
We can have that conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Other than that, it looks good up there.
That plow looks pretty nice, huh?
Yeah. Very
Paint
nice.
and the decals on it.
Yep.
Anybody else regarding highway? Okay, real quick, 7B, discussion of Mcqualms Shore and Lakewood Drive. Chris, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good evening to you again. Got a request. Is it best to go Chris or Christine? Which do you prefer?
Chris.
Okay. Sent me an email regarding Mcqualms Shore. When Mark Fenton came and walked, he talked about possibly doing advisory lanes. And that's where you put some markings down and you really make it almost one lane. And then if opposing vehicles come, they pull over. We kind of said that's a little extreme for what we're used to seeing around here. So then Chris asked whether or not we could put, she calls them fog lines, basically a single white line on each side of the road. There is a cost to that. It's probably going to be around $1,000 per mile. So I don't know. I'm not that interested in doing that right now because it's not part of the budget. What I want to see is how the feasibility study comes in and so on. But I did want to bring it up because it was a request. Whether or not to do the same thing at Lakewood Drive, and then if we're doing it at Lakewood Drive, we need to probably take a look at some other areas. You know, Tabor Road, Champlain Street out there with campers and everybody else that are walking around. Do we set up a committee to decide whether or not we've got some improvements we should be considering making? So I throw that out there for discussion. I guess first, Chris, if you got anything you'd like to add, I'd rather you speak than me speak.
Sure. Sort of the backstory of those fog lines is that I didn't know anything about fog lines, but I went to talk to Chief Stell. The thing I went to talk with him about first was the flashing neon speed sign on Grand Avenue. I wanted to ask him if that's been effective in reducing the speed on Grand Avenue, and he said it has been, 5 to 6 miles an hour by the school there. And then he went into talking about how the other tool that traffic people use are fog lines. I'd never heard that term, and he said, it's the white lines down the side of the road, which is sort of a psychological / visual narrowing of the lanes so that drivers tend to drive slower. So that's where I came up with that idea that I, put in the email to Joel, is just, trying to think of some ways to make the road safer. And I realize it costs money, but I sort of wanted to get it out there so that when time comes down the road, there's no money in the budget this year. I understand that. But if we can start, mulling over some of these ways to make the road safer, because, the feasibility study is going to get done, but, the implementation of those recommendations for an actual path is going to be very expensive, but the problem still exists, So what are we able to do in the interim to try to make things safer, on the road on Mcqualms Shore?
I agree.
That was,
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I was actually going to touch on those points when you brought it up. You said everything I was thinking. The fog lines do slow people down, and I was just going to ask, isn't that the road that keeps having accidents? Is that not true? Isn't there a sharp
Mcqualms
curve?
Shore?
Yeah.
I don't think there's been any accidents. I could be wrong, but
okay. But there was an issue recently about somebody speeding, and then right, and then they looked over to see if people were actually speeding. I thought, do any of the board members remember that? I thought Mcqualms Shore was the one that they were having issues with speeding.
That may have been last year. I think, Joel, you may have brought it up sometime in the fall about the speeding down there or something.
Oh, it's occasional. I mean,
right.
I walk Mcqualms Shore quite a bit. For the most part, people are pretty courteous and stuff, but it's a flat, straight road, and once in a while, motorcycles, you'll hear them wind up for a mile or two away and come flying down through here. Cars sometimes speeding, and then the big trucks are intimidating at 40 miles an hour. Some of them, you think they're going quite a bit faster. What I really think would be nice if we could get a committee together and start looking at this. Not, like I said, what I've said before, not just Mcqualms. I think that it's reasonable that there may be some improvements we want to do as the town to some of these roads to make them a little more walkable. We do have a study already happening for Mcqualms, but we could put in the budget for some striping and stuff for next year. But I'd like to see a couple citizens and one or two board members sit on a committee for the next month or two and come up with some recommendations.
So
before the budget season comes.
For what it's worth, we have the Healthy Community Task Force, which is Christine, Lise McDonald, myself, and Betsy Fournier. And I think one of the things that we wanted to focus on is prioritizing projects. So there's a built-in committee that I think I'm going to speak for the rest of them, and Chris jump in. I think that we would be happy to help with that as part of what we would do as part of what we do as a task force.
Yeah, I'd be definitely happy to be in a committee like that.
We have a Swanton Enhancement Project meeting Thursday night. I think we should bring that up and get some people together and start looking at some improvements.
Yeah, I forgot on the agenda that it's not listed as a task force. When we were talking, I just realized that, but it is actually a task force, so it should be listed on the agenda.
All right, so how about we do that, folks? We get a group to look at it, and they can present to the select board some possible improvements, and I will help them price that stuff up, etc. We can see where we go from there.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Thank you.
Chris,
Thank you for coming in, Chris, and bringing this to our attention.
Yeah, thank you for taking a look at it. Thanks.
Okay, we will start talking about that again on Thursday night. See if we can start moving forward. forward with some plans. Okay. Any other necessary business? David, I've got you muted. Hang on. There you go.
None for me.
Anybody else? Pretty quiet. Okay. Public comments, reprise. What have we got left on here? We got our young Boy Scout. I think he's dropped off. Anybody else? Linda?
Good.
Okay. Upcoming events, next select board meeting Tuesday, June 16th at 7 p.m. the Village Complex. We talked about that and the procedures we'll have in place for that meeting. Next planning commission meeting is still to be determined. Flag Day is Sunday, June 14th, 2020. Next DRB meeting is Thursday, June 25th, 2020. Is that going to be at the town office, David?
No, Amy told me that's going to be a Zoom meeting.
Okay. On my agenda, it says town office, but that's going to be a Zoom.
Yeah, that was that was before she told me that it's on Zoom instead of here. For a while there, she was talking about a procedure in which one applicant at a time would come in and meet with the board here in the meeting room. But apparently they decided it would be better to do it by Zoom for now.
Okay, that's
Which
fine.
is a little difficult for anyone in the public who might want to look at a plan. I don't know how they're going to work that out.
I am going to let the Development Review Board handle that one.
Yep.
Okay. Executive session if needed. Anybody?
I also want to just mention, it wasn't on there, but the Swanton enhancement that we discussed earlier, if people want to attend that, is that open to the public? The Swanton enhancement meeting on Thursday?
It is not.
It's not open to the public. Okay.
That's correct.
Okay. No executive session. Before we talk about adjournment, one thing I guess under just kind of any necessary business or comment is I want to thank all involved with what we did for Memorial Day, getting flags out on the village green, and then the very small procession that went and laid the wreaths out and stuff. I think it was a good thing and the right thing for us to do, and just wanted to pass that on. I think June 16th, David, you could put on the agenda for discussion about the flags in the park. We leave it at that for tonight. But,
all right.
Yeah, the other thing I guess I want to say is I went to YouTube at somebody's suggestion and look at Spotlight on Swanton and find the little video that Heather did regarding Memorial Day. And I think you'll be quite moved by it. We were very impressed, Heather. That was a nice job.
Thank you.
Anything else before we adjourn? 1 hour, 45 minutes. We did pretty good tonight, folks. Thank you very much. Your motion?
This is Mark. I'll make that motion. We adjourn at 8:40 p.m.
Gary, I'll second the motion.
Motion been made and seconded that we adjourn. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Karen,
Aye.
Gary,
Aye.
Heather,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Joel, aye. The ayes have it. We are adjourned. Thank you very much,
Good
folks.
night, everyone. Thank you.